He sent his pregnant wife to jail over $100, but he lived to regret it. Dear viewers, kindly hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment on the section. And to my story. The late afternoon sun poured through the half-open curtains, casting warm streaks of gold across the small living room. Maya, 9 months pregnant and moving slowly, sat on the couch with her swollen feet propped on a pillow. She rubbed her belly and hummed softly to the little life growing inside her. The past few months had been hard. The nausea, the back pain, the sleepless nights, but every kick reminded her it would all be worth it. Her husband, Trevor, paced across the room, a deep scowl etched into his face. In his hands, he held his wallet, flipping through the bills again and again as if he expected the missing one to magically appear. "Where's the $100, Maya?" His voice was sharp, too sharp. She blinked in confusion. "What $100? The one I left in my wallet yesterday. Don't play dumb with me." Her brows furrowed. "Trevor, I haven't touched your wallet. Why would I?" He gave a bitter laugh, the kind that cuts deeper than yelling. "I don't know, Maya. Maybe you wanted to buy something for yourself. You've been at home all day. Who else could have taken it?" The words stung, not because of the accusation itself, but because of what it implied. That after everything they'd been through together, he saw her as a thief. Her eyes glistened. "Trevor, I'm your wife. I'm carrying your child. You really think I'd steal from you? Don't make this about the baby," he snapped, running a hand through his hair. "Money doesn't just walk away." She shifted uncomfortably, feeling a dull ache in her lower back. "I swear I didn't take it. Maybe you misplaced it." "Don't lie to me," he shouted, his voice echoing through the small room. For a moment there was only silence, thick, heavy and suffocating. The baby kicked inside her, as if sensing the tension. Trevor's eyes hardened. "You know what? I'm tired of this. If you won't admit it, I'll let someone else handle it." "Trevor, what are you saying?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I'm saying I'm calling the police." The words hit her like ice water. "You're not serious." "I am. Maybe a night in a cell will make you tell the truth." She stared at him, unable to process what was happening. The man she'd loved, the man she'd built a life with, was willing to have her arrested over a missing bill. When the officers arrived, Maya's world blurred. Their voices were cold, their hands firm as they led her away. Neighbors peeked through curtains, whispering. She kept her head down, cheeks burning with shame. From the back of the police car, she looked at Trevor standing on the porch, arms crossed, jaw tight, and realized something inside her had broken. This wasn't just about $100. This was about trust, and his was gone. The metal door clanged shut behind her, the sound so sharp it seemed to echo inside her chest. Maya stood frozen for a moment, the air heavy with the scent of bleach and something stale, a scent that told her she was no longer in her home, no longer in her life. The guard motioned toward an empty bench in the holding cell. "Sit." She obeyed, lowering herself slowly onto the cold metal seat, one hand instinctively cradling her belly. The baby kicked again, harder this time, as if protesting their new surroundings. Maya swallowed hard. "It's okay, sweetheart. I'm here." Around her, other women sat scattered in silence. Some avoided eye contact, others stared openly, curiosity and pity mingling in their gazes. One woman, tall with sharp cheekbones and a headscarf wrapped tightly around her braids, finally spoke. "You look like you're about to pop," she said softly. Maya nodded, too tired to offer more than that. Her back ached, and the chill in the room seemed to seep into her bones. "First time in here?" the woman asked. Maya's lips trembled as she whispered, "Yes. My husband, he." Her voice broke, the words catching in her throat. She didn't want to explain. "Not here." The woman gave a slow nod, as if she'd already guessed. "Sometimes the people closest to you do the worst." Hours passed in a blur of noise, the metallic jangle of keys, the distant thud of doors, muffled voices from somewhere beyond the walls. Her mind kept replaying Trevor's face when the police led her away. He hadn't looked guilty. He hadn't looked sad. Sure that she was the kind of person who would steal from him. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since morning, but the thought of food made her nauseous. A dull cramp spread through her lower abdomen, tightening and releasing. She brushed it off at first. Stress, she told herself. But as the night deepened, the cramps became sharper, more frequent. Panic swelled in her chest. "Guard!" she called out, gripping the bars. I think I'm in labor." The officer approached, frowning. "How far along are you?" 9 months. "Please, it's happening." Within minutes, everything became a rush of movement. Her wrists freed, the cold hallway blurring past as they led her toward an ambulance. She clutched her belly, breathing hard. The pain came in waves now, each one stronger than the last. The ride to the hospital was a haze of flashing lights and the distant wail of the siren. Maya's tears fell silently as she thought about how this moment, the moment she was supposed to welcome her child into the world, had been stolen from her. No loving husband's hand to squeeze. No reassurance whispered into her ear. Just cold leather seats and the hum of the engine. By the time she reached the hospital, the contractions were relentless. Nurses moved quickly around her, their voices urgent but kind. "You're going to be okay," one whispered, brushing the hair from Maya's damp forehead. And in that moment Maya realized something. She would be okay, but not because of Trevor. Because of her own strength. As she bore down for the final push, sweat dripping into her eyes, she felt an almost electric clarity. The man who had put her here would never again have the power to break her. And when her baby's cry filled the room, Maya held him close, breathing in his newness, his warmth. She whispered into his tiny ear, "It's just you and me now. And we're going to make it." Maya's days in the hospital were a strange mix of exhaustion and peace. She would feed her newborn son, Elijah, then watch him sleep with a soft rise and fall in his tiny chest. His warmth against her skin reminded her that life could still be beautiful, even after everything. But her peace was laced with uncertainty. Though the police had temporarily released her on medical grounds after Elijah's birth, she still had charges hanging over her. Trevor had told them she'd stolen $100 from his wallet, a petty theft charge, but still enough to leave a stain on her record if it stuck. Her parents were gone, her friends scattered. She had no one to lean on. Except for the unexpected. It started when the tall woman from the holding cell, her name was Tasha, showed up at the hospital with a bag of diapers and formula. "I ain't got much," Tasha said, placing the bag down. "But I couldn't stop thinking about you. You didn't deserve what happened." Maya's eyes filled. "Thank you. I don't even know how to repay you." Tasha gave a little smirk. "Don't thank me yet. I've been hearing things about your man. Word is that money. It wasn't missing. He spent it." Maya frowned. "What?" "Yup. Bought himself a new set of golf clubs last week. Bragged about it to his buddy at the bar. I know because my cousin works there and heard the whole thing." Maya's stomach twisted. She wanted to believe it was a mistake. Some horrible misunderstanding. But deep down, she'd known Trevor was capable of selfishness. She just never thought he'd go this far. When she got out of the hospital, still moving carefully from the stitches and soreness, she began quietly asking around. Neighbors, mutual friends, even a few people Trevor used to work with. Piece by piece, the truth came together. Trevor hadn't just spent the $100. He'd been siphoning money from their joint account for months. Small amounts. Just enough so she wouldn't notice. And the worst part. He'd been planning to leave her. One neighbor, Mrs. Green, lowered her voice as she told Maya, "I saw him last week with another woman. Blonde, younger, fancy clothes. He said he was moving in with her." Maya's heart went cold. So that was it. He'd used the accusation as an excuse to push her out, to humiliate her, to get rid of her before she could fight for anything in their marriage. She held Elijah close that night, whispering, "He thinks he's done with us, baby. But this isn't over." The next morning, she called an old acquaintance, Jordan Blake, a local attorney known for taking on cases that seemed impossible to win. "I know I can't pay you right now," Maya said over the phone, "but I need someone to help me clear my name." He lied. "I can prove it." There was a pause on the line before Jordan replied, "Meet me at my office tomorrow. Bring everything you've got." Maya hung up, a quiet fire burning in her chest. For the first time in weeks, she felt the faint hum of power returning. Trevor thought she would stay silent. He thought she'd crumble. But he had no idea what kind of fight she still had left in her. Trevor's life was perfect. At least that's what he told himself. He was living in a sleek downtown condo with Veronica, the new girlfriend who liked to post every expensive dinner on Instagram. They took weekend trips, bought designer clothes, and Trevor felt like he'd upgraded his life. The memory of Maya and her pregnancy was something he shoved into a mental box, locked away so he didn't have to think about it. But the box wouldn't stay shut. One Thursday afternoon, just as Trevor was leaving for a golf game, he was served with legal papers. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Defamation, false accusation, emotional distress. And attached to the claim was something he didn't expect. A demand for damages that went far beyond $100. "What the hell is this?" he muttered, flipping through the pages. "Is something wrong, babe?" Veronica asked, sipping her overpriced smoothie. Trevor didn't answer. He was too busy reading the part where Maya's attorney detailed exactly how Trevor had lied to the police, fabricated the theft, and caused her to be jailed while 9 months pregnant. There were witnesses. People who had overheard him bragging about the golf clubs. Bank records showing his purchases. Even statements from neighbors who'd seen him flaunting his new relationship. And then, the cherry on top, Maya had filed for sole custody of Elijah. Trevor's stomach churned. For the first time, he realized this wasn't just about the money. This was about his reputation. His job depended on him looking trustworthy. If this went public, his career would be over. Meanwhile, Maya's life was quietly transforming. With Jordan Blake's help, she cleared her name in court within weeks. The judge dismissed the charges against her, noting there was clear evidence of malicious intent from Trevor. Not only was her record clean, but she was now free to pursue compensation. The media caught wind of the case. Pregnant woman wrongfully jailed by husband over $100. And suddenly local news stations wanted to interview her. A women's rights foundation offered to cover her legal fees in exchange for her sharing her story. She didn't just share her story, she owned it. Maya sat in studio lights with Elijah in her arms, speaking calmly and clearly. "I want other women to know. Silence protects the wrong people. You can start over. You can rebuild. Even when they try to take everything from you." The public loved her. Donations began pouring in from strangers moved by her story. One businesswoman, a restaurant owner, offered Maya a partnership to open a new cafe in town. "You've got resilience," she said. "That's the kind of person I want to work with." Trevor saw all of this on the news while sitting in his expensive condo, but the food in front of him suddenly tasted like cardboard. His phone buzzed. It was his boss. "Trevor, we need to talk about your situation. This kind of publicity isn't good for the company. Let's meet tomorrow." For the first time, Trevor felt something he hadn't in months: fear. And Maya. She was just getting started. The next morning, Trevor walked into his company's glass-walled office building feeling like he was walking toward his own execution. His boss didn't even waste time with pleasantries. "Trevor, we've been contacted by reporters. They're asking about your arrest of your pregnant wife. And your pending lawsuit. Clients are pulling contracts. We can't afford this kind of scandal." Trevor tried to defend himself. "It was a misunderstanding." "No," his boss interrupted. "It was cruelty. You're done here. Clean out your desk." In just a few seconds, the job that funded his flashy lifestyle was gone. By the end of the month, Trevor's life was unraveling at high speed. Veronica, his girlfriend, was nowhere to be found. Her Instagram suddenly private, her pictures with him deleted. The condo. Gone, he couldn't afford the rent. His golf buddies stopped calling. Even old friends avoided him. And then came the lawsuit verdict. The court ruled in Maya's favor, awarding her a 6-figure settlement for defamation, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. Trevor had to sell his car and drain his savings to pay the first installment. Maya didn't gloat. She didn't send him taunting messages. She didn't even look at him during the proceedings. Her silence cut deeper than any insult could. Months later, Maya stood in front of her brand new cafe, Elijah's Corner, the warm scent of fresh pastries drifting out the door. The shop was already popular, and she had a loyal team of employees. Jordan, her attorney and now a trusted friend, was helping her expand into catering. She was dressed in a soft cream blouse and light jeans, her natural curls framing her smiling face as she carried her now chubby baby boy. Customers greeted her by name. She was happy, truly happy. Meanwhile, Trevor sat in a cramped apartment across town, staring at an empty fridge. His phone buzzed with another overdue bill. He thought about calling Maya, maybe to apologize, maybe to beg for help. But deep down he knew she had moved on. She had taken the worst moment of her life and turned it into her rebirth. And him. He had taken $100 and lost everything. Maya often thought about that day in jail, the fear, the humiliation, the loneliness. But now she saw it differently. It was the moment she realized her worth wasn't tied to anyone's love, approval, or money. Trevor had wanted her broken. Instead, she became unbreakable. As she locked up the cafe that night, she whispered to Elijah, "We're going to be just fine, baby. Just fine." Across town, Trevor poured himself a glass of cheap whiskey, scrolling through old photos of the life he used to have, and realizing it was never coming back. He had sent his pregnant wife to jail for $100. And that $100 had cost him everything.